Hello, how is everyone? Hi. I'm gonna let you guys come on. This is a fertility hot seat. I don't know why. I feel like I haven't done one in a while, but maybe it's just been a full schedule. So here we go. You guys are already asking to join me live, and I love it. I love it. I love it. So this is how the hot seat works. One of you, well, as many of you as want, asks to join me live. You hit that little plus sign at the bottom of your screen, and that's a request to join me live. And then at random, I'm going to pick one of you to come on live with me, and I'm going to give you a free 15-minute consult. And just keep in mind that this is not medical advice. This is direction and guidance based on my 2 decades of clinical experience helping women get and stay pregnant. My advice and guidance based on the books above my head, my best-selling fertility books, my books on autoimmunity, all the things. So I'm really excited. I love doing these hot seats, and I know how much you guys love them as well. So I'm going to here comes more people rolling in to request to join me live. And yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Let's see. Okay, we got people. I see you everywhere on my social media. Let's do it. Let's see. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, thank you, my love. Oh, I feel a bit nervous.
Good. I picked you. I saw you pop on first, and I was like, I'm going to pick Hannah today. I am. How are you?
You're
welcome. Tell me what's going on. How can I help, young lady?
Okay, so me and my husband have been trying to conceive for 3 years.
Okay.
The first year we tried naturally, and I have a mirror, so I use one of those so we could time it perfectly, and no success. So I've never been pregnant.
Okay.
And then after that, I decided to go to the doctor, and I did letrozole for 4 months because my gynecologist thought I had PCOS because my AMH is high. And my cycles were 49 days or like 23 days, mostly. I then did letrozole for 4 months. Yeah, that didn't work. And then...
But did it shorten your cycles? Did you start ovulating sooner and get shorter cycles? Yeah. Okay.
My ovulation went to normal. And then I had a high cozy.
Okay.
At the same time, doing my first letrozole. And then I kind of got over it. It was really invasive. I didn't like it. So I switched to Chinese medicine. Okay. And I got a practitioner. And then, so from September 2021, she got me to change my diet completely. I took out, so basically exactly the same as you. So I've got all your books.
Okay.
Changed my diet, castor oil packs, changed all my beauty products, did steaming, moxa sticks, vigotherapy, acupuncture the whole time. And she got me to stop all exercise. So I was a bodybuilder previous in 2019 for 5 years before that. So no exercise whatsoever. So I've only just started to kind of go back a bit now, just because feels like forever.
It's not working. How about like your weight, or like, would you say your body fat content? Like, was it low when you were bodybuilding, and then is it now?
It was, but now I'm 55 kilos. That's my off-season weight. That's my general body weight. But I am 23. BMI.
Okay. And what were you in the past? Like, say 3 years ago.
18.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Has your cycle changed? Do you see a change in your periods?
Yes.
As far as like flow and stuff.
Since in 2021, since changing to Chinese medicine, my periods are regular now.
Okay.
So they're 32-day cycles.
Okay.
But I'll get onto it in a minute, but I have been doing IVF, so that changed it.
Okay.
But yes, so my cycles went to normal, and we carried on, and all my supplementation and things like that. And I was doing a bits of yoga. Okay. And then I started doing tests. I did a toxic, like chemical.
Toxic burden, the total toxic burden test. Yeah. Okay.
And I had high mercury, but my functional medicine doctor said she thought because I was taking zeolites and glutathione that it was just getting it out, and that's why it was high. And then it also showed I had high histamines. So I had to do a whole revamp. So my diet at the moment is mostly your one from Body Belief.
Okay.
I'm a perfectionist, so I tend to not break
Okay.
I get too obsessed with it, I think. So
Okay.
I'm quite stuck in that diet at the moment, but I had to take sweet potato out because that was affecting me.
Yeah. What are you doing
Yeah.
in place of it? Just other
Uh,
veggies?
Pumpkin and parsnips.
Yeah. Good. Okay.
Um, so yes, I did that. Then we decided, I said, right, that's it. We decided to do IVF. I was always against it, but I was like, okay, I'll do that. So we did an IVF round and we had 18 eggs, 12 fertilized and 4 blasts.
Okay.
So she all, and she said they were all 4 AAs, but not PGT tested.
Okay.
And she said she was really happy with it. She freezed them all. So she doesn't think I have PCOS. This is a different gynecologist. So I switched because I didn't like the other one. So she then did 2 transfer. I've had 2 frozen transfers. And she said the transfers look beautiful. Neither of them stuck.
Okay.
So I've also had recently a colposcopy because
Yeah.
I had high levels for the last 3 years.
Okay.
So this other doctor said to me, she thought because it's the same time we started trying, that's probably stress has brought it all out.
Maybe. Yeah. Yeah.
She's done a biopsy because she saw the thing color changed. So I'm getting results back for that on Friday.
Have we
I've also
had a hysteroscopy or an endometrial biopsy?
no, so that's what
We just had the high cozy. Yeah, but okay. Yeah. That's where I would go next because it's
yeah.
like egg and sperm are fertilizing. You have a good blastocyst rate. Like, I mean, it maybe could be better that like, so 12 fertilized and 4 blasts. So when did the other 8 die off? Like around day 3?
Yes, but what happened is so she did half ICSI, half IVF.
Mm-hmm.
The ICSI basically killed all my eggs. All the other half. So she said to me, your natural fertility is fine. So she would just do IVF if she did it again.
Okay. And sperm, that's like the other question. Sperm is
Yeah.
fine?
So
Okay.
check the sperm. He's had multiple tests, and I also did a sperm defragmentation test as well.
And
that was under 15%, so that was fine.
Okay. Okay.
So the next thing I wondered is I wanted to do another round of IVF because just to have more eggs than 2 on ice because I've only got 2.
Yeah. Yeah. So you transferred 1 time each. And then did you do anything with so you don't have like thyroid's fine, no Hashimoto's, vitamin D's fine, all that's been checked?
So she's saying it's fine, but I just got another doctor, a functional doctor, and he's running an organic acid test, a GI mapping test, the Dutch test. I'm doing another full blood count. And there's another doctor called Dr. Sachs, who's been doing lots of work on natural killer cells. So I've got that test sent off as well.
Okay. Yeah, because it's like, that makes me think that like, it sounds like eggs are good. They're fertilizing. They look pretty, that there's something going on in the uterine environment that's preventing, obviously. So, I think earlier on, there were probably more challenges and seems like you've overcome a lot of them. So I would think about, with transfer, baby aspirin for certain at the minimum. And go ahead.
Oh, so I did the last round, my gynecologist agreed to let me do the baby aspirin, and she increased my progesterone to 800 milligram or whatever the thing is, but it was 4 a day.
Did you feel pregnant at any point? Anything different that felt for you or no?
No, not really.
No.
Like okay. I felt really tired.
Okay.
When I did the first round, I had different what do you call it, progesterone. I had the Oripro and I had this other stuff, Crinone, I think it was called.
Yeah.
And at the end of that, when she stopped my medication because I wasn't showing any of the amounts after 11 days, I wondered because I had she said something fell out in the toilet, and she said to me it would have just been leftover progesterone, but that freaked me out because that was looked a bit weird. But the second time, with the aspirin and the progesterone, it didn't really feel any different apart from being tired.
Okay. And periods, like any history of clotting, cramping, painful periods?
So before I did the Chinese medicine, I did used to get really painful periods and I'd have to take paracetamol. But no, I haven't. I've only had that happen to me twice. But the last cycles I've had no problem.
Okay. And any pain with ovulation or pain with sex? No. Okay. And then any weird, like you have the histamine thing food wise, but any weird like physical reactions like that where you get like weird reactions to bug bites or things like that?
I have a really weird one, but no one
Okay.
really knows what it is. So sometimes when I eat something, I don't know what it is. It sets off like sore, like
Mouth sore.
lumps,
Okay.
but at the back of my gums,
Okay.
and then I can just get rid of them like straight away. If I use my nail or whatever, it would go, but they just pop up like straight away.
And what do you
But
use to make them go away?
I just scrape them off.
Oh, are they painful though?
No, not really. It's like it like blows up like water type thing.
Yeah, oh, like
But
little blisters. Okay. Do you
yeah,
get any eczema or psoriasis or anything like that? No. And so no
no.
other, like you've obviously like read my books. You don't have any other like kinks in your system that you think.
Yeah, like I'm really tired all the time. I have brain fog. Foods do set me
Okay.
off. So
Okay.
literally all I'm eating is I have your bone broth in the morning with egg yolk,
Okay.
and then I do your purify smoothie every
Okay.
day, and I steam my greens. And then I have a lot of coconut milk and cultured ghee. So I put cultured ghee on everything. Also with the purify, I use coconut milk. And
Okay.
then for lunch, I literally have a protein. I'm only eating chicken, fish, or lamb.
Okay.
So I react to beef. So I had to take my beef bone broth out, and I have marine collagen. So I have marine
Okay.
collagen in everything, literally all day. And then I have, yeah, for like, say I have the protein, then I have like either the only greens I can have are bok choy, asparagus, which I don't eat very much, and broccoli, other than kale.
Right. And then when you eat like this, you still have brain fog and fatigue?
Yes. But
Okay.
my digestion is fine.
Okay. What's your iron or your ferritin levels? Has that all been checked?
Yeah. So my iron was 170 mol, and my ferritin was 191.
Okay.
But I think so. I'm on liver tablets
Okay.
and liver tablets. So I don't know if that's what brought it up, and all the collagen.
Yeah. Because it was it lower. Um,
And my cholesterol and my prolactin is at the higher end. But she said she wasn't worried because of the balance. I don't
yeah.
know that.
Oh, and the cholesterol and the
Yeah.
prolactin, and vitamin D is fine. And like thyroid, TSH, all that's fine.
So with the thyroid, this is why I wanted to do the other test just to look a bit closer.
Yeah.
It said for my TPO and TGAB, it was under 3 mil.
Okay. So probably nothing. Yeah.
And then TSH was 1.8, T3 was 4, T4 was 13.1. So my T4 is a lot higher. I don't know if that means anything.
Yeah, it's not all converting, but your TSH is still fine, so that's not a big deal, I think.
So it's I'm trying, did I say I have MTHFR
Okay.
homozygous.
Okay. And then has anyone, so I feel like, will you do an endometrial biopsy? Will you have someone do a hysteroscopy? Is that like next on the Western side testing?
This is what I was thinking. So the ERA here is really expensive.
Yeah,
But
you don't need the ERA. I would just do an endobiopsy, the minimum. Make sure you don't have endometritis. You want to rule out endometritis.
because with that, so I wondered if I did the egg retrieval, I was thinking about February, just so I could have those eggs there, and then do the endometrial biopsy.
Mm-hmm.
So to see if I have so see if then I take the antibiotics and things like that for the endometritis, and then do a transfer.
Yeah, because the things that like pop in my head of like, is there adenomyosis? That's preventing implantation. Is there endometriosis that you've managed and you're have under control, but still is causing some sort of immune system reaction? I would also push for your doctor to not just baby aspirin, but consider like, the dosing is different over there, but like what the equivalent of 10 milligrams of prednisone here in the US with the transfer. And like the natural killer cell doctor will be able to advise you on that stuff. That's who I would like talk to about that. But because it sounds like probably 3 years ago there were layers of things going on. Your BMI was too low. You probably had a lot more inflammation. Your periods weren't regular. You weren't ovulating. Like since you're like slowly peeling back the layers and like fixing, that's almost what it sounds like. But then even still with the brain fog and the fatigue, it makes me think like either something you're still doing your body doesn't like. I wonder, have you ever tried, I know you wouldn't have much to eat, so forgive me for saying this, but have you ever tried like no coconut milk to see how you feel, to see if it impacts brain fog or fatigue?
Um, I haven't, only because it's like a massive food
Yeah.
source.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Like, or at least do you do the full fat one? Could you try the low fat or the light and see? Or even cut the amount in half and see if that impacts things. Because it's like, what else could be causing this brain fog? Unless there's something environmental. Like when you did the toxic burden, only thing that came up was mercury, nothing else.
Yeah.
And like home has been the same place. Have you guys lived in the same place for a long time?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you feel like the quality of the air and things like that have been thought about or looked at?
Yeah, I have thought about, I mean, we're mostly outside because we live in a hot, so it's hot all year round. We don't get seasons,
Okay.
basically. So
Yeah.
yeah, always outside. In the house, because we have cats, we do have the indoor cats, so we do have our windows shut a lot. But so I don't have an air purifier. I have thought about it and
Yeah.
like plants like that.
Okay.
But
And
generally,
then
I'm
in
out.
your like heart of hearts, what are you thinking that's causing the delay?
I don't know. I've been trying to work on like stress, and I'm doing Melissa's Holy Mama course at the moment.
Oh,
And,
good.
yeah, and then like trying to do some like breathing and meditating. So I'm not very good at that. So I have high anxiety apparently.
Okay.
Um, but I don't know. I feel like there's something going on inside. Like I haven't felt right for 3 years. Like something's wrong, like inflammation wise. So that's why I was doing like your
But
as
do
if
you
I
feel like inflammation wise things are getting better? Is it like you were at a
yeah,
10 and now you're at like a 5? Or is
yeah,
it, yeah,
no,
okay.
probably higher than that. Like I feel heaps better. I was having lots of problems with my muscles as well. Like I got really weak.
Okay.
That was a while ago now. So that's what started it off, because I was like, there's something wrong. I wasn't able to lift how I would normally lift.
Okay.
Um, And yeah, so I kind of feel like there's something going on, obviously, with that implantation stage.
Yeah.
And and I didn't know whether my doctor also said I wanted to ask you. So during the during the retrieval, she didn't want me to take the liver pills or the fish oil.
Yeah, that's fine. Just stop
That's
them like a few days before. That's fine. It's not going to do any damage. They thin the blood. She doesn't want you to have
yeah,
any. But I would talk to her about like obviously see what the NK doctor, natural killer cell doctor looks at, see what the Dutch comes back with. Because if it is adrenal related, we'll see that in the Dutch. And your DHEA could be low, and maybe you need a little support there, and that would help with even like maturing the follicles more, but like a little bit, like 10 milligrams, not a whole bunch. um, and then I would think about, sure, it could be adrenals that are taxing your body. But then I agree with you. I feel like when we had such like those are nice results from IVF. I mean, I know we would have wanted more to get to blast, but obviously, if she doesn't do the ICSI, I think you will. So it's like that then tells me that like I think eggs and sperm are doing what they need to do. There's been something else going on in the uterine environment. So it's like that's where I would argue for the endometrial biopsy. And then even like with the next transfer, like baby aspirin, and then if someone could prescribe you a steroid, even if it's 10 milligrams, I feel like that. And a lot of docs will try it because they're seeing you and they're like, she's doing everything, and her embryos look great. Like, what more could we try? It's like in the literature, they see it, it's talked about. So that's the other thing I would think about. Um,
would you PGT test? Like if I do it the next cycle,
no,
would you test them? No.
no. How old are you?
39.
Yeah, I wouldn't test them. No. I don't think you need to. I think too mentally, just like bank them, you'll feel better. But like then it's like we dig deeper on the uterine cavity side, and like usually when they go in for the endometrial biopsy, and they can do this during a retrieval too, that they do the hysteroscopy at the same time, so you can go under for that retrieval. They do the hysteroscopy and the endobiopsy, and they look at that uterine cavity, make sure that there's no like adenomyosis or even, polyps or fibroids. I mean, even they'll all say, oh, we did a saline sauna and we didn't see anything. But like, I can't tell you how many times I just had a girl that like her doctor was like, we did a saline sono and everything was fine. And they did a transfer and then she miscarried. Then I pushed and she got the hysteroscopy. There was 9 fibroids inside of her uterus that they did not see on the saline sono. 9. She's currently pregnant again. So fingers crossed, baby dust to her, baby dust. But yeah, so it's like, and I've heard that from other REs that like really push for the hysteroscopy. They're like, you can miss so much in the saline sono. So I think before like using any more of the embryos that you've worked so hard for, I would make sure that we look inside that uterine cavity. And it sounds like you're going to do that. Collect data, like even with the NK, the natural killer cell guy, even if you just have like a low level of it or higher than normal, I would still push for treatment with it, because considering that like these 2 transfers didn't take. And like, I think I think you're right. If like there's something else. Oh, you know, are you 3 grams? Oh, you froze on me. Sorry. Are you there? Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
Would you take, she did discuss at one point, without doing a biopsy, they could just give me the like drugs that they would give and see what happened, like the vaginal depository.
You could do that. I feel like, wouldn't you rather know for peace of mind? But you could, yeah, I would rather know personally.
But what's the difference between an ERA and an endometrial biopsy? Because when she's talking to me about it, she's basically saying the ERA because she takes a biopsy.
Yeah. They're the same thing, but what makes the ERA expensive is then they're not just looking for, and they take the biopsy, they can send it off to pathology to see if there's like an infection, that's endometritis. But then they'll also send off a sample of the tissue and they test it for the right implantation window. So it's endometrial receptivity assay. And then it tells you like, oh, should I transfer 3 days after her LH surges or 5 days after her LH surges? It's like that, finding that right window. Some doctors swear by it. Some doctors don't use it. I don't know that I've always seen it be like the make or break in an IVF cycle, the ERA that is, but like the endometritis, I think can be a really, it should be, in my opinion, we shouldn't be doing any IVF transfers without checking for endometritis first. So, it seems to be that prevalent these days. And I think anybody with gut dysbiosis, anybody that has like gut issues, most likely has microbiome issues in the uterus. And so it's to treat it. So you could just go and do the antibiotics, but I think for you, you're working so hard at this. Like, I think it'd be nice to have all the pieces and kind of understand it. Yeah.
Cool. Because I was thinking about doing one-on-one with your coaches after I get all these other tests back.
Yeah, totally. And then we could give more insight for sure because I like the GI map. We're like, I'm working on a program right now that's going to include all of that. Basically, it's like I've been brainstorming nonstop, but I think the most important test to include would be the GI map, the Dutch test, and then the genetics. And then I go back and forth about that total toxic burden, because same thing, we see so many girls that we test for mold, it comes back, or we test for these heavy metals and they come back. And then it's like, oh, that's why. The GI map tells you so much though, of like anything that's going on in the system. And my girl Carrie on my team, she's kind of like my expert in that department, and I'm learning a lot from her. But definitely, like if you feel like you want another set of eyes on the case and like we can help you put together a little. Yeah.
Do you think it's okay taking like zeolites and glutathione whilst you're on stims, like for an IVF? Because it's like detoxifying kind of.
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I probably wouldn't. Like, it's like for those 2 weeks you could just stop. Like the glutathione, usually I'm always using NAC, which is like the precursor to glutathione, right? And I don't usually stop that. But the zeolites, when you say those are the peptides, or those are?
I don't know. Mine's called NCD. I don't know. It's like a little thing. I'm not sure actually. All I know is it pulls out. It binds to.
I know what it is. It's a binder. It's a chelator. It's a chelator. Yeah. Because it's like in clay. I know what a zeolite is now. Yeah, I would not do the zeolite for sure with stims, and I would almost like do that. I probably wouldn't do that even when I was trying in a natural cycle. Because so even when we're doing like GI map and if we do charcoal or something like that, that's a binder, or even you can do the bentonite clay, which is the zeolites, I think, would only do it in the follicular phase, not in the luteal phase.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, I think that but yeah, I think you have time to collect more information. But I also think like just try to check your boxes of like, okay, the period's regular, I'm ovulating, we just did IVF, we had good results. Like, I mean, I know this has still been a hell of a long journey, but like check all your boxes,
Yeah,
and then get your data, and yeah, you'll get your babies. You will. You will. I think we just got to make sure that uterine cavity. No, you will. I mean, I think you know, obviously no one can guarantee you anything, but I think moving to IVF and getting the results you got, it's like, yeah, you're very close. So stay the
yeah.
course. Okay.
Yay.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing with everyone too. I really appreciate that. So, yeah, for certain, get your results, and then you do a one-off session with my team, and we can really help you navigate this even more. Okay.
Perfect. Thanks so
Okay.
much, Aimee.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you so much. Okay.
So much.
Goodbye.